Hello, class 398N, digital imaging. I want to do a short video today about a technique that you will use in project 3, and that's non-destructive dodge and burn. So let me share my screen here. And I already have my file opened in Photoshop. I'm working on a magazine cover, and that's one of the images I'm considering using. Now let's check my background layer. I already changed it to 0, so you know how to do that. Double click on background layer and it will get you to 0. So the first thing that we always do with every imaging exercise in Photoshop is that we will optimize our image. I have a certain size, but I don't want you to work with that size. So remember, you are not going to check on the resample. I am going to do my 300 resolution, and I see it's 6:4. You should have your photographs should be at least one side 10 inches. So that's my sizing, and then I'm going to go and do some adjustment layers. So layer, new adjustment layer, and we start with levels. And I have my histogram here, so it looks like it's a little bit on the light side. So I'm going to move my white level a little bit and see what happens if I move the black one. I can also do the midtones. So, okay, I have some nice colors here. So that was my new adjustment layer levels. The next one that we can do, if you wanted to, brightness and contrast. It always depends. The number of layers you do, it depends on your image. So once I created the brightness and contrast layer, I see the pull down menu here on the right. And maybe I want to do a little bit of contrast, and I'll leave the brightness as it is. With you may add a little bit of bright if your image is kind of dark. And contrast usually makes it a little bit darker, okay? So the brightness makes it lighter, contrast makes it darker. And the next layer will be, again, if you need it, vibrance, okay? So vibrance and vibrance, I can again do something. Let's see what it will do if I move it to +5. Saturation, I don't really need. My image is pretty well saturated. So I have done now what I could do with this image. And the next step will be to convert it into a smart object. So I click on layers 0 and go to filter, and I have convert for smart filters, okay? And here I am. Okay, so now my image has been converted into a smart object. So why did I do it? Well, because I want to sharpen my image. So I go to filter, sharpen, smart sharpen, and we'll do the standard amount, 100% radius 1 and reduce noise 10. I have it at 10. You may do it a little bit differently. Again, depends on the quality of your image. So I click OK, and I'm done with my image. You know, I took it as far as I could. So the next step is to go to vibrance, and there are two things how you can get to creating a layer for dodge, okay? So you can go to edit, okay, and fill. And you see the contents should be at 50% gray. That's what we want, okay? That's very important. Mode would be overlay. So we do overlay and we have 50% opacity, which kind of is the same as the contents percentage. I say okay. And that gave me the overlay on vibrance, okay? But I could do something else also. I could go here, I could go to plus, okay? And I have a new layer. I will name it overlay or dodge. Let's say dodge, okay? Dodge. And I have this layer. Now I want to see, okay, whether it's really an overlay. So I'll go here, give it an overlay. And the fill, we said it has to be 50%. So 50%. Okay. So now I've set up my dodge layer. You see it's transparent. The next thing is to go and find my dodge tool. And if you see, I have these 3 dots here and a little arrow. If I press on the arrow and go down the menu, I find my dodge. Now, dodging makes it lighter. Burning makes it darker, okay? So let's see what will happen to my dodge. Okay, other things you have to remember up here, midtones, the range will be midtones, exposure 11%. I have my protect tones already checked off, and I have -5% just you know, for the brush. And I have a brush size of 27. Now the I know Bob recommends 19. The exposure thing here, the default is 50, but because of my image, it's already kind of pretty light. There are some pretty light colors in it. I just did it at 11, maybe I'll do it at 10. And this is just for demonstration purposes. And I have my brush at 27, maybe it's a bit too much, so let's give it just 25. Okay. So 25, and now I can start, remember, dodging means I make it lighter. So let me just show you. I'm not going to save this. Okay, let me just show you what happens if I want to dodge something. Let's say here. So you see, it's very, very subtle because I have it at very low, okay, exposure. So maybe 19. So let's see what happens if it's at 19. And I am on the dodge layer. So it's getting lighter. And here, for example, if I do it, this takes time and patience. So just do it, do dodging and burning only when there is really need to do it. You see, maybe I want to lighten this, so I'll do this. Now let's say I want to do burning also, and the process is the same like with, you know, arriving at the overlay layer for dodge. The only thing is I'll just change the tool, burn. So here's my burn tool. Okay, maybe I want to do this much darker. And again, because I'm only using 19%, it's done gently. Usually try and do these things with the low exposure and do it several times. It takes time, but I believe the outcome is much better. Also, Also, if you just click anywhere in the image, you get not only the brush size and the hardness, which I have at 0%, maybe if we do it 8, and that highlighted the general brushes, whether it's with a sound round or hard round. Okay, so 8% is very soft. That's what I'm doing. Okay, I'm continuing to do my burning. You see what is happening here. Now that I have adjusted it to 8%, the brush hardness to 8%, I'm getting a little bit more result visually here. So that basically is non-destructive dodging and burning. What you do is you optimize your image, you change it into a smart object, and then you add another layer on top of all the other layers with at 50% gray overlay. And then you use your tools, either dodge or burn. Okay, so that's all for dodge and burn. I will try and do some other techniques shortly and have them up for you as soon as possible. Bye, everybody.